The electorate has changed in this country. We've seen a shift away from the wealthy white man, and all of a sudden, Latinos, women, African Americans, gay individuals are playing a huge role in who gets elected in this country. And we're going to have a great discussion about why and what the future looks like for the Democratic Party.
There's this old concept, right? Bill O'Reilly said it on the day of the election, that the white establishment is over, right? that traditional America has ended.
So you've got these communities that we talked about in terms of their individual impact, the tremendous growth of the Latino community, the huge numbers impact of the Asian community, and of course the African American community, which a lot of people thought would reduce, but held steady at 13% of the electorate. But those communities made up a new electorate, a new majority of the electorate, in a way that I think it's important to recognize was not so much about the candidates themselves, it was about economics.
So let's have a discussion about income inequality, because we hear that phrase quite often in cable news, and I don't think that people have a firm understanding of what income inequality is. So can someone really elaborate on what that means?
And is this really just a conversation about poverty? Is this really just a conversation about this election sort of criminalization of poverty? Mm-hmm. The idea that if you make a certain amount of money below what is acceptable, you are reprehensible. And it's your fault because this is, you're talking about that like Romney versus Obama paradigm of like, I did it, me versus like, we're all in this together. That sort of turned around when it comes down to like, you did this to yourself.
You know, when you've got CEOs making 750 times yearly the rate of an average employee, that income inequality leads to an imbalance in power. What I saw was an electorate that is facing similar economic challenges across a certain board, and that becoming the unifying factor.
You know, when you start seeing that Latinos are actually voting for gay marriage, despite, you know, still being super Catholic, and you know, on abortion, they're kind of coming to census. Our community is, and you see a whole transformation on these social issues. This whole notion that I mentioned earlier about Latinos being socially conservative is a myth, and you're seeing an ongoing transformation in the community, and having this notion of collectivism is very much permeating in this new majority. That,
you know, while we had great successes this election, folks turned out, we are still seeing growing income inequality in this country.
To me, I feel like the concept of access and choice, not freedom of choice in terms of reproductive rights, but the right to choose your destiny, right?
Absolutely.
Where you're gonna live, where you're gonna work, how you're gonna raise your family is so fundamentally woven into the fabric of who we are as a nation, but we really never lived up to that ideal. And I think the attitude that Mitt Romney brought to the campaign was, rich people know better. We're the job creators. Everybody just relax. We'll take care of it.
It was a bad time to have a wife who had that fancy horse in the election.
Yeah, and a $700 T-shirt.
And until corporations begin to share the wealth, because they're making record profits, and the CEOs are making record wages. But the workers are not sharing or benefiting in that. And so when you see workers walking out in New York and California and Illinois, fast food jobs, when you see Walmart workers walking off the job, that's something we haven't seen before. And I think it speaks to the moment that we're in, where people feel not only the crisis, but have seen a way to move forward and to win on this by the unified, I think, coalition that came together in this election.